All right, and welcome back as we are on episode 6 of our TMNT 2003 series as episode 8 Fallen Angel. And I'm kind of shocked with this one, to be perfectly honest. There was a lot of highlights and definitely some lowlights, but let's get into the episode here as this one kicks off with the Purple Dragons basically breaking into the shop. I don't know what the shop is. It might just be a local mom and pop shop. Not really sure. But there's this girl, Angel, who is basically trying to do tryouts with the Purple Dragons. And the Dragons aren't going to let her in unless she passes all of their tests. So she breaks the window. They loot the place. Head Dragon, I believe they called him Dragonface, I believe was his goofy ass name. It might be something else. It might be a different guy I'm thinking of. But dude tells her, like, look, you got one more test to, pass, and then you will be officially a purple dragon. And as they are escaping, the turtles come by, stop them, fort them, as all the other dragons are getting their butts kicked because, God forbid, the dragons know how to fight or even put up a fight to defend themselves at all. Angel is able to get away, and as she's on her way, as she is trying to make her way out, Casey's the one who stops her and basically is like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, you're mixing up with the wrong crowd. Like, don't be part of the Purple Dragons. And she's like, no, they're my posse. They're my family. And he just keeps telling her, if you go down this route of being with the Purple Dragons, it's going to get a lot worse for you. And bad things are going to come your way. And plus, I made a promise to your grandma that I will keep you safe. And she's telling him basically what every kid would always say to someone. No, I don't need you. I can protect myself. I can hold my own. And she's able to get the upper hand on Casey and knock him out with the sack of money she got. And runs off as the turtles ask Casey, like, who is she? Should we be worried? And he's like, no, she's just a little kid that I know that I'm supposed to keep an eye on. And obviously, Casey, being this big softie under that hockey mask, takes it on himself to keep her from going down that path. And ends up following a couple of the Purple Dragons to their clubhouse to get into there so he can go and save her, as he sees that her next test is to basically fight these dragons in this ring. And without her, I don't know if she just didn't know or Casey just jumped the gun way too soon, but he hops in the ring, gets Angel's back, protects her, and obviously with him doing all of this, everybody, all the Purple Dragons are pissed that he's here, and Han makes his appearance where I don't know if this is the first time Han and Casey have met since their first time meeting when Casey was a kid. I don't know if this is the first time they met in the series yet. I can't really remember. But obviously, Hun takes him out, no problem. Like, this dude's a beast for a reason, and he's the reason why he is the leader of the Purple Dragon. So he handles Casey no problems, and Angel's getting the heck out of there. She doesn't want to be here to see what's happening. Casey's locked up all in the chains and all that, and she makes her way back in there, telling him, hey, it's my fault, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you mixed with this. And Casey tells her, look, it's not your fault. Look, go to, which I thought was a very nice nod. It was Eastman and Laird, I think it was, the two creators of the Turtles, I believe. I might be wrong on that. I cannot think of what their names are, but I think that's what the street is that they're on. And Casey tells her, look, go to this location and ask for Raph, and his friends will help her get him out, as he's still locked up, and he knows she ain't going to be able to do anything, and her being caught isn't going to do anything either. So she goes and gets the Turtles. While the Turtles aren't really doing much in this episode up to this point, other than stopping the robbery and Donnie working on the shell vehicle. I don't know why the battle shell, I cannot ever remember the name of the damn vehicle. I don't know why I cannot remember it and it doesn't stick in my head. And maybe it's because I'm just not focusing on it, but Donnie's working on a device to where if he hits the button on this signal, on this remote, that the turtle truck, that the shell vehicle, I'm going to learn it. I just don't have it written down, and yeah, we'll be able to just take the signal that it's shooting out and meet them where they're at. So she goes and gets the turtles, tells them, hey, Casey's in trouble, need your guys' help. And as the turtles are all distracted, dressed up in their clothes, making fun of how humans dress, essentially, saying maybe they should all walk naked, like, at one point, Raph tells Leo that's a very bad idea, because I don't know how or where he has seen a naked person before, which is disturbing on so many levels, and I don't want to know why, but he tells Leo, like, that's not a good idea. So Leo and Raph are fighting in the cage, keeping the spotlight on them, while Donnie, Mike, and Angel go and release Casey and get him out of this X-like thing. It looks like you'd find something in a dominatrix dungeon type of stuff. Because all the people in the cage are fighting for the chance to beat up Casey themselves and take advantage at him. So Raph and Leo are handling them in the cage. Donnie and Mikey and Angel are helping Casey get released. Okay, so they're in this disguise going into the Purple Dragons. Now, either the Purple Dragons are completely oblivious or they are blind as hell, but how do you not notice a 3-fingered green-skinned creature walking in? I would assume these guys would stand out and they'd be very noticeable to see. So how did you not recognize that they are turtles? Are you just assuming they're wearing a costume? But then at the same time, why would you think they're wearing a costume going to this Purple Dragons area? Like, it doesn't make sense at all why no one noticed them. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So they finally lose their clothing and their disguise, and Han is pissed at this point, breaks into the cage and takes on Raph and Leo, and they cannot take him on by themselves. They are getting manhandled, and this dude is showing why he is the right-hand man for the Shredder. He is just taking them out like it is nothing, and whatever they're throwing at him, it's just doing nothing. So Donnie, Mike, and Casey finally see this, and they go down there to help him, and the fact that it took all of them to get him finally down and able to escape was just showing how much of a badass this dude is. So they're finally able to drop off Angel to her grandma's, and obviously the day is saved. So overall, I did enjoy this episode. The pros for this, I liked that it was a Casey-focused episode. I liked that you got to see, I loved how that it's spotlighted. The spotlight was on him, and he's not just a hothead swinging a bat trying to get his revenge on these Purple Dragons, because even at one point, Angel stops him, and it tells him, like, look, don't do that, otherwise you're going to be making the biggest mistake of your life. He's just trying to make a promise he made to Angel's grandma to keep her safe, and I felt like that gave the story some heart, and showing that even though Casey had a rough childhood coming up, he still is looking out for this little girl and trying to make sure she doesn't have the same life that he had, and wants to keep her safe and keep her out of that whole realm of vigilante and thug-like business. Like, he just doesn't want her to go down that path at all, and wants to keep her safe from that whole thing. And I just liked how it gave Casey this deeper role, and showing that he's more than just a comic relief or backup muscle for the Turtles, that he is his own character, and he has his own stuff going on, and other people that he knows that could easily come and help the Turtles later if they need it. So it was kind of nice to see that, and that it was a Casey-focused episode. I enjoyed that. And then the other pro, Hun. Dude's an absolute beast. The fact that he was able to take on Raph and Leo by himself and held his own to the point where they were the ones backing up because they could not take him. And then the fact that even when Donnie and Mikey got in there, they still couldn't take him down. And it wasn't until Casey came there and they took down this whole cage, basically, essentially, to take him out. The fact that it took 5 people to beat this man down, like, he showed why he's Shredder's right-hand man, and the fight made it clear just how dangerous this guy is. He's not just smart about how he even tells Raph, hey, I'm the reason why you got free. It wasn't you being smart or clever or stronger. It was, I let you go, dude. Like, I am the reason why you got free. So don't put any mind into it that you think you could have beaten me in any way. Because he shows why that was possible. So the fact that, like, Hun showed them, I'm a real threat, and I am not like the rest of the Purple Dragons. You can't handle me this easily. As that also goes into my con, which the Purple Dragons are just a straight joke. The Foot Clan soldiers can run laps around these guys, and it's not even funny. I mean, the Purple Dragons as a whole are still kind of a joke. Thieves, sure, I guess. Fighters, not so much. They're basically Saturday night mall cop fodder. Like, other than Han, Han is basically the LeBron James of the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day. They don't have anybody else on the team, and if LeBron's not on the team, the Cavs aren't a freaking threat to winning a championship any year. This is what Han is for the Purple Dragons. The Purple Dragons need to go get some training or something, because they are the worst. I mean, I don't even want to watch them anymore. They're essentially like CGI characters for the heroes to beat up to look good until they take on the boss character. I mean, every episode the Purple Dragons are in, they are looking worse and worse, and I'm kind of tired of seeing them. Like, they don't even get a win over the Turtles ever. They're always getting their ass handed to them, and it's kind of pathetic in a way, and I don't really care to see it anymore. They're not doing anything, and they're not a real threat to the Turtles whatsoever. So maybe the less of the dragons, the better, unless they do something to them. But they're completely worthless in my eyes. So, overall, I really enjoyed the story of Casey trying to steer Angel away from the bad path. The emotion felt real, and Hun added the danger that the Purple Dragons don't have, though still useless. With all that being said, I would have to give this episode a B-. Good story, great focus on Casey, Hun being a badass, but somebody please, for the love of God, give the Purple Dragon some meaning or a training program, anything at this point, because they are literally an embarrassment to thugs everywhere. So I hope they figure that out, because the Purple Dragons are just useless to me, and they don't pose any threat to the Turtles. But yeah, so we are already episode 9, and I think, what did I say? There's like 20 episodes, so almost halfway through we're in episode 8, sorry. Episode 8 here, not 9. 9's the next week's episode. So we're almost somewhat halfway there, and it's been kind of an up and down ride so far here. We've had some really good episodes, and we've had some good focus on characters here. I feel like the villain's henchmen are probably the only down point so far, and I'm not really caring on them. Obviously, the Purple Dragons are by far the worst. The Foot Clan is definitely miles ahead of the Purple Dragons, but the Foot Clan soldiers themselves aren't much better, but at least they put up a good fight for the Turtles. The Purple Dragons are just useless. So unless they change them in some way, they're always going to be bad to see, and I don't care to see them anymore. But I'm excited for the next episode to see what happens. I feel like we've been hitting some pretty good episodes with them lately. I'm excited for the next episode. So I would love to hear your comments on the episode. What did you think? Am I being too hard on the Purple Dragons? Do you actually think they're a good crew or a nice little foil to the Turtles? Let me know. Like I always say, let me know what other shows or movies you'd like me to tackle. Feedback is always appreciated. I always love seeing the feedback. If If you look in the comments, anytime someone gives me negative or even positive feedback, I take it. I love it. I want to make it better. Obviously, being a one-man crew, also working on the gaming channel and working a full-time job is not always the easiest, so sometimes I have to do things that make it easy for my job. But at the same time, I also want to know how to improve it and make it better for you guys so you guys can enjoy what you're seeing. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next episode.